Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now down to our last finalist. Please give a warm welcome to Team Medical Informatics Corp from Rice University, United States of America. So let me remind the team. So you have 30 minutes for the whole presentation, but after 5 minutes, it's going to go fully interactive. Okay? Please keep an eye on the two ladies in front here. They'll show you the time. And then you have 2 time warnings before the end. One at 3 minutes before the end, and one at 1 minute before the end. Okay? So I think we're all ready. Good luck. We will start the clock as soon as you start.
Six million Americans will visit an intensive care unit this year, and 1 in 5 will not survive. Healthcare professionals are desperate for better, real-time tools to help diagnose and treat their patients. My name is Dr. Emma Faust, and I'm the CEO of Medical Informatics Corp. At Medical Informatics, we provide better, real-time tools to doctors and nurses to improve patient outcomes. In a critical care environment, doctors have to ask this question every day. What is wrong with my patient? They use bedside monitoring devices to track the minute-to-minute status of their patients. They have to take in data coming from all these unconnected monitors, aggregate it, and interpret it in their heads. They're looking at physiological data, such as EKG and blood pressure. Doctors are looking for information that's hidden within these signals to help determine whether their patient has a particular condition or not. But there's a problem. With a typical patient generating over 100 million data points per day, doctors are facing data overload. They have to deal with too much raw data and not enough information. Our solution to the data overload problem is our software platform, Sickbay. Sickbay can collect, store, and process all of the physiological data coming from every bedside monitoring device in a hospital. We take all that data coming from unconnected devices, put it in one place, one format, and then deliver disease-specific metrics directly to the doctor in real time. This is how we do it. A patient comes into an ICU environment. They're hooked up to a bedside monitor. This monitor generates data, which is then put in the hospital's internal network. Our servers sit on that network and listen for that data and collect it. We then take that data, analyze it, and then give doctors disease-specific information through their mobile devices. We call this real-time clinical decision support. This means we can put critical patient monitoring data at a doctor's fingertips so they can make better, faster decisions. Disease-specific information is delivered to doctors through applications that sit on top of our platform. Each application is developed for a particular disease and patient population. For example, in Thailand, there are over 10,000 deaths per year resulting from traffic accidents and brain trauma. With a single app, we could save up to 5,000 lives per year because a doctor would not have to guess what the right blood pressure is for their patient. The Sickbay platform is already developed and tested. From 2009 to 2011, we ran the system as a beta trial at the University of Virginia's Medical Center. In 2012, we signed our first client, Texas Children's Hospital. Because the Sickbay platform is a platform technology, we have the capability of running a variety of different applications on our system. The first application that we would like to focus on developing is the alarm management app, which Professor Russin will explain to us in further detail.
Thank you, Dr. Faust. In a typical 500-bed hospital, nursing staff will have to respond to over 70,000 alarms each day. And often they receive these alarm notifications through their mobile device. And typically, they receive multiple notifications at once. The problem is that the nurse has no way to know which one of these alarms to manage first. when over 90% of alarms in these hospitals are false alarms, she has no way of understanding which alarm is a true critical event. And hospitals spend over $100,000 each year for this inadequate solution. Medical informatics has a better way. We propose to bring the monitor to the nurse instead of the nurse to the monitor. At the point of notification, we can provide the complete clinical context of every alarm. This means that within seconds, a nurse can determine whether this alarm is a true critical event or not. By providing real-time information to these professionals, we can increase response times and improve patient outcomes. Medical Informatics has assembled a premier team of professionals to bring the Sickbay platform and alarm management application to the global healthcare market. Our company is led by Dr. Faust, who has her PhD in electrical and computer engineering and experience in venture capital. Chris Rath is our Chief Financial Officer. He has experience in consulting, risk assessment, and medical device development through NASA. Jessica Finlan is our VP of Marketing and Sales and has almost 10 years of experience in direct sales to hospitals. Kurt Walker is our Chief Medical Officer. He has over 30 years of experience in emergency medical care. Ralph Krogh is our Chief Compliance Officer. He has over 30 years experience as a project lead in medical informatics projects at both NASA and Lockheed Martin. And I am Dr. Craig Russin, Chief Technology Officer and Professor of Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. I'm the developer of the Sickbay platform. I was invited to present this technology and talk about real-time clinical decision support at the TEDx conference in Houston, Texas. Our company is also supported by a strong board of advisors who have deep experience in technology, entrepreneurship, venture capital, and medical software development. Medical Informatics is a member of conscious capitalism, and we seek to promote a more effective and efficient healthcare by using existing technologies or existing healthcare technologies more efficiently and more effectively. And now, Jess, our marketing and sales VP, will talk about our sales strategy.
Before we move on, can I establish where we are at the moment? Because I read that you've got this pilot test at Texas Children's Hospital, and the clinical interface is currently under development. What is the status of that? Is it running? Is it proven? Where are we?
So you just want to know the status of where our product is now?
Yeah.
So currently we have a pilot operational at Texas Children's Hospital. It's running in this cardiovascular intensive care unit. The entire back end is constructed and is being used for approximately 13 research projects within the hospital. Jess will actually talk more about the status of the pilot in the marketing section.
We have taken a top-down approach to sizing the big data and healthcare market. Research from Gartner, Forrester, and IDC indicates the North American annual spend for big data in healthcare will reach $2.7 billion this year. This segment is expected to grow rapidly over the next 5 years due to the expansion of medical tourism throughout Asia. For the alarm management industry, we've taken a bottom-up approach to sizing the market. Our competitors price their alarm management application at $2,000 per phone. When doctors are on call at a hospital, they carry one phone and care for an average of 5 patient beds at a time. With 1 million hospital beds in the United States, the North American annual spend for the alarm management industry is $400 million. We plan to take a dual sales channel approach to reach our initial customers using a direct sales force. Our sales pipeline is already strong due to our initial customer at Texas Children's Hospital and our management team's professional network. We're going to sell to ICU administrators who are the decision makers at large research hospitals. These hospitals will give us industry credibility and help us establish relationships with researchers. We're also going to sell to the C-level executives at small specialty hospitals. These are much less bureaucratic organizations and will have much faster sales cycle times than the large hospitals. We'll also be able to bring immediate revenue to our bottom line through these hospitals. As we've mentioned, Texas Children's Hospital has signed for our first customer. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Texas Children's, this is the largest children's hospital in the United States with more than 500 patient beds. They are also a renowned research institute known especially for neonatal care. Our pilot at Texas Children's Hospital is a research installation in the cardiovascular intensive care unit. We have been gathering data from every bedside monitor since December of 2012 and using it for various research projects. We've also made headway in the small specialty hospitals. Nexus is a 75-bed hospital system just outside of Houston. They have signed a letter of intent to purchase the Sickbay platform and alarm management application as soon as they clear FDA approval. Erin Cassidy is the CEO of Nexus Hospital, and she is desperate for an alarm management application and is completely unsatisfied with all products on the market today. In the big data and healthcare market, there are several companies who are gathering data from bedside monitoring devices, but they're not doing anything with the information. Only Medical Informatics will provide an integrated solution for real-time clinical decision support. In the alarm management industry, there are two companies who provide texting and messaging capabilities, but no clinical context along with the alarm. Our alarm management application provides that clinical context so nursing professionals can make decisions at the point of care. We've set up strong competitive barriers that cannot easily be mimicked by another company. We have already overcome a very difficult technical problem by completing development of the Sickbay platform, which took several years to develop. We intend to file a provisional patent which will cover Sickbay's data gathering algorithms. We also have a strong pipeline of apps in development, with the alarm management app that we've already discussed and 12 others soon to follow. And as we've mentioned, we've established our first customer, which has already given us industry credibility. They are also a referenceable customer that we can continue to use as we sell to other institutions. And now, Mr. Raff, go ahead.
Before you go on,
yes.
For me, it seems that your program is excellent. But many times, even though the program is very good, the implementation maybe is more important. The technical support, the manpower of the people who will keep the program going. Please clarify about this, because I believe that I think the hospital would look into this more than maybe the program itself.
Yes, so you're asking about the additional staff that we would require to support the installation in a hospital?
Installation and also the maintenance. Maintenance
Yes.
of the program and whatnot.
Yes. Our initial plan is to work with hospitals that are in the Houston, Texas area. Houston has the largest medical center in the United States, and there are, I believe, 100,000 beds in the medical center in Houston. So since our team is located in Houston, we will use our own support staff and the funding that Chris will talk about to hire additional staff to service the hospitals with the initial installation and then hire a support staff. We will likely use an outsourced support staff for very first level, and then the second level would be manned in-house. So in my background, I've worked for a software company for almost 10 years. And while I sell to the hospitals our software, I'm also in our support group and operations, and I work with our support staff as well.
In Thailand, this kind of talent, people, very difficult to find. You might be able to recruit them in the beginning, but how to keep them, I'm not so sure whether you have that kind of problem in the States or not. How to keep the people, especially in the IT.
Yes. So in the second level of support staff, part of the funding request that we need is to hire these professionals that are experienced with it, and they will have a higher salary so that we can keep them with our company. So there are challenges with having the right professionals in that position, yes.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry.
So in this particular business model, the hospital has to invest on your system. Am I right? Because, so how would they justify the money that they're going to spend on this system? You know, I mean, are they going to reduce the number of nurses, or is there a real value-added proposition that I can see? I'm not looking at it from a different point of view, because your customer is the hospital and they will have to invest. So if they want to invest, there must be a return of investment for them. What is that you can convince me?
Yes. Well, when we've talked to our initial hospitals, there's sort of two groups that are concerned with getting returns on the investment.
First, you have your people on the ground who are doctors and nurses. They will see soft ROIs, which means that they'll actually experience time savings and improvement in operations, because we'll have apps to address certain operational issues like the alarm management app. The second level, another stakeholder in the hospital is the administration. They're looking for more of hard ROIs, where they want to see revenue being generated. In the application that I talked about, such as the cerebrovascular autoregulation, where we're talking about managing the blood pressure of a patient, we're already working at Texas Children's Hospital to enable that. And the doctors want to use the application as a consult tool, so that they can actually submit for billings for the hospital to generate revenue by using our tool. So in that way, the administration will see actual revenue generation.
I have a question, the same doubt that what in it for their hospital they can save because you are clearly stated that it's saving more lives, and the hospital, if they install the system, what can they making in their PR or what in it, and then they have to comparing with or without your installation, what is in it for them, the advantages. You must be, can you better clarify for us?
So you're asking, when the hospital installs the software, what kind of benefits will they see on top of the savings and the time and money savings? We are just in the initial installation at Texas Children's. It's been installed since December of 2012. Our plan is to create several white papers and case studies based on the data that we're gathering, so that we can document these kinds of things that the hospital considers to be benefits of our software. So we're going to work with Texas Children's Hospital very closely to document those things.
Let's say that an important thing is to monitor the blood pressure. What's the risk, or what's the happening right now for, let's say, a standalone blood pressure machine and manufacturer has already got an app that's communicating between its device or its machine and a device, and that the hospital says, well, we already have the main ones, we have one or two of these, you know, that why should we spend on this whole thing when we've really got critical ones right now already provided, or are they not provided?
So what you're asking for is why a competitor can't actually come into our space.
And also just, now what I'm really asking is, what's the risk that you're providing a complete package that's not as, that has full value, but you can actually get that a third or a half of that value just out of one or two machines that already that manufacturer's got something communicating to a device that a nurse or a doctor has in hand?
So the answer to that question is that oftentimes the data that's required to provide these disease-specific metrics require multiple devices. The problem is that those multiple devices are often made by different manufacturers. So you might have one bedside monitor taking a blood pressure measurement, another monitor that's doing near-infrared spectroscopy on the brain, but you need to combine those two signals in order to get the actual piece of information you need to make a decision. And right now, there's no way to fuse those pieces of data together, synchronize them, and then process them. And that's what our system provides.
So competitors in big data, IBM, Excel Medical Electronics, how far do they go, or what are they going to do? Do you see them as entering this field in a stronger and more competitive manner?
So IBM and Excel Medical Electronics are working together to gather data from bedside monitors. They're not gathering data from every monitor, and what they're doing is taking the data and putting it into their proprietary IBM language and doing nothing more with it. They're just gathering the information, and it could be used for research, but it is not intended to be clinical at all.
I've actually met with the IBM folks because they came down to the University of Virginia to look at our system. Their point of view is that this isn't a space that they want to enter. Their big thing is selling it to stock traders, right? Because there's far more value there. They don't have to go through the FDA approval process to actually, you know, make money on that. So they see the medical field as interesting, that they can write a white paper about, but nothing really that they're going to pursue in greater detail.
I got a question. Who actually owns the patent for this whole system? Is it medical informatics company, or it is the university?
Medical Informatics developed the software in-house, and so we own the IP outright. It's not currently patented, but we will be seeking a provisional patent next month.
And do you need a FDA approval for this?
Yes, we do.
And how long are you away from that?
Yes. We are, as soon as we have funding, we will start the FDA approval process. Should I continue into the... As a software company, Medical Informatics will seek to generate ongoing, sustainable revenue through a software licensing model, but also earn immediate revenue through initial installation and consultation fees. Prices will be on a per-bed basis, but minimum charges per hospital will apply. In 2017, the revenue for Sickbay will reach $9 million, and the total app revenue will reach over $40 million. With no materials or production costs, expenses will largely be salaries and FDA compliance fees. This will allow us to drive an operating margin of over 80%. A standard operating margin for a software company can be anywhere from 30 to 90%, but the average seems to be around 76%. From a cash flow perspective, From a cash flow perspective, operating cash flows will continue to rise over the next 5 years, which will allow us to reinvest back into Medical Informatics to accelerate the development of apps. Because the Sickbay platform and alarm management app are just the beginning. With 13 other apps already in development, we can drive revenue to over $50 million by 2017. What this means is that apps will drive growth and incremental revenue. To get started, we are asking for a seed funding of $1 million. And next year, we will seek to generate an additional $4 million in Series A financing. This investment will produce a return of 64% IRR over the next 5 years. The $1 million in seed funding will allow us to hire additional developers and to also pursue development of the alarm management app. We will also seek to push the system through the FDA approvals, which should take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. The $4 million in Series A financing will be used to hire additional staff to continue developing apps. We will also pursue the CE mark and the ISO certifications so we can do international sales. To help us get through the regulatory compliances, we've hired the services of OMEDTech, regulatory consultants with FDA and CE mark expertise. They will help us do everything from filing the paperwork to handling the audits.
I have one question that your marketing must be very good because you guys already get the contract from the Houston hospital, even though you cannot, you still documented that the benefits using after the installation. So as an investor, so I wonder, not only the advantages, also documented the disadvantages and the problem they have encountered during installation of your system. So how you can convince us as the investor? Because you are in the session of the developing and no clear evidence of the benefits. What the hospital really achieve after using the system, right?
So what you want to understand, if I understand you correctly, is what the hospital is kind of getting out of our...
Yeah, how you convince the hospital before convince investor. Thank you.
So to be clear, you can't actually use the Sickbay system without FDA approval. You just can't use it clinically. And what that means is that you can't use it to make decisions upon the treatment of a patient. But you can use it for research. And that's what we're doing at Texas Children's. And so through this platform, we are able to develop these applications in a research capacity. What that means is that the researchers and clinical staff at Texas Children's can apply for funding from the National Institute of Health and National Science Foundation, bringing money into the hospital in terms of research grants. Then they can use that money to develop applications that we can then license, bring through, and commercialize so that they can then use them clinically. So they are getting a benefit in terms of research. They are, once we get initial funding, we'll be able to bring the system through the FDA approval, and then the hospital will be able to use it for quality projects. A big issue in the United States right now is hospital quality management, and there are lots of opportunities in this marketplace to improve the type of quality reporting metrics that the hospitals are going to be having to use for reimbursement and getting money from the government for healthcare payments.
Just a you're asking for about $1 million as a seed money, right? Okay. Why would you not go and approach like a private hospital, like, Mayo or somebody who's big, and, convince them that this system can be developed, rather than to come to probably for investors all the way down to Asia?
Well, first of all, we wanted to visit Thailand. It's beautiful here. The people are wonderful, and we've enjoyed our stay. But as to why, we're actually starting with the largest children's hospital in the U.S., and we are partnering with them to develop these next generation of decision support apps. So could you help me understand your question a little bit more?
Would they not invest the $1 million? Why would the children's hospital not invest? Because it is such a great system that can help so many things, from nurses' time to, charging. Why would they not invest the $1 million? Because it's not big money.
I can't really comment on that at the moment.
We are open to investment
Yes.
opportunities from any type of investor.
Yes.
Well, other thing I would like to ask, I believe the technology in medical